Hi y'all, my name's Chris Weston, and if you recognize me at all, it's probably just through hunting, but what you're looking at here is a brand new Stihl RZ960i zero turn, and it is brand new. I'm probably one of the first guys to get one. Ferris makes these mowers, and I'm coming from a Ferris IS3200Z with a 61-inch ICD deck. Of course, Ferris builds the zero turns for Stihl, and I'll tell you about what some of the differences are here shortly. But this is basically an orange and gray version of the Ferris ISX 3300. And I'm a huge fan of Ferris, and I had the 36 horsepower Vanguard motor on my Ferris IS3200Z and loved it. Just an absolutely bulletproof motor. Never had any issues with it at all. I did have run into the sort of starter issue one time. I had to replace a starter, but that wasn't you know, a huge deal. I mean, it's the only issue I ever had with it. So I've been looking and doing research into the ISX 3300s for a couple of years. They've been out now for 2 or 3 years. Of course, Briggs & Stratton owns Ferris, and Briggs & Stratton makes these big block you know, now 40 horsepower motor at this point, and they've been putting them on the ISX 3300s new for this year. Well, for several years, a couple of years, they've had the 40 horsepower motors out. New for this year, Ferris started making a 60-inch deck. So they've redesigned the deck. This is the new 60-inch deck. I had the former deck, the 61-inch, and the cut on it was very, very good. One of the best in the industry. Probably my understanding. Now, I've had John Deere commercial zero turns. I've had Exmark, Toro, you name it. And the Ferris was head and shoulders my favorite. The suspension is not gimmicky. It is legitimate. It works as advertised. You can see here, here's my yard. It's getting dark here, so it's difficult, but I've got probably 5.5 acres, pushing 6 acres here in the front yard. And it goes way, oh, I can't zoom in. It goes way down there to the street. You can't really definitely appreciate it from this view. Having said that, it's very rough. There's lots of rabbit holes, literally rabbit holes in my yard. Very, very rough yard, uneven and that kind of thing. The ISX 3200Z did a great job at mitigating the shock that you feel. I did not have the suspension seat on that one, and it did great. I mean, this yard will just beat a mower to death. So to go over the new Stihl mower, we were talking about I was talking about the deck, on the 61-inch deck that I had on the old mower. It could leave, with dull blades especially, it could leave some tiny little strips, maybe 1 or 2 sometimes strips, out from under the deck that would be sticking up higher than the rest of the grass. And I always thought, well, maybe there's a little overlap there, or the deck isn't designed perfectly. Now, I can tell you with this mower that the new deck is phenomenal, and it has eliminated those 2 sort of ridges that you would leave behind. For sure. So it's my understanding from the guys that I got this mower from, and they are a Ferris and Stihl dealer, that they've brought the spindles in, and they overlap one another a little bit better, so there's better coverage. So the 60-inch deck, it's man, it's amazing. Good night. A lot of people always said that the Skag Turf Tiger 2 would give a little bit better cut maybe than the Ferris, marginally better is what I've heard. And I don't know, because I have never had a Skag Turf Tiger 2. I gently sort of chewed on getting the Turf Tiger 2, but I've just, the dang Ferrises, they work so good, and they've been so amazing to me that I just couldn't abandon the Ferris mowers. Now, having said that, Ferris may have bitten off a little more than they can chew with producing the Stihl mowers and the Stihl RZ series of commercial mowers, along with the ISX 3300s, because it seems like while I was looking for an ISX 3300, that I could find lots of the Ferris ISX 3300s with the Kawasaki 38 horsepower motor. Very difficult. Well, let me backtrack. I could find lots of the 38 horsepower Kawasaki's on the Ferris ISX 3300s with the older 61-inch deck, and the few that with the 60-inch, new for 23, 60-inch deck that are trickling their way down to the dealers, even those, most of those have, almost all of them in the Southeast that I looked at, have the 38 horsepower motor also. So that, that was an issue. Same thing with the Stihl RZ960 series, which is what this is, 960i. I could find a few of these here and there, but most of them had the Kawasaki 38 horsepower motor. I did find a 72-inch cut with the 40 horse Vanguard. I ended up getting this from Cay Springs, Georgia, at an amazing little shop called Cay Springs Outdoor Equipment. And there was a guy there, Gabe, who I spoke with on the phone about a month ago, and he was so patient with me. We spent about 40 minutes on the phone answering all kinds of questions about these mowers. And he was so kind that I thought, well, shoot, when I'm actually ready to buy, I will call them back and give them first opportunity to sell me one. So sure enough, I called back. They had one of the 60-inch Stihls with the Vanguard 40 horsepower motor, and I immediately jumped on it, and here it is. Now, cool thing about the 40 horsepower Vanguard motors is that they have this oil guard system. So, and that's what that tank is right there. It holds most of the oil in that tank and very little inside of the motor itself. So what that does is the oil stays cooler inside of this oil guard system, this oil guard tank, and it's not always in the motor staying super hot. It's actually a really cool, and they say that you only have to change the oil every 500 hours. On my old IS3200Z, I believe they called for it to be changed every 100 hours, although I changed it every 50 hours to be safe, and never had any, of course, issues with it. Now, this mower right here, it's very dirty right now. I don't hose them off when I'm done. I don't believe in that. I don't want it sitting in my shop overnight, soaking wet. And I know a lot of people say, oh, just run it for a few minutes, be fine. Me, I just blow them off. I blow them off and then I park them. So it will get dirtier and dirtier and dirtier, but I'll maintain the daylights out of it and hopefully get a very long life. Now, some of the differences between, and I know you're wondering, between the Stihl 960i series and the Ferris. Y'all hear them kites across the street? They're going crazy over there. But some of the differences between the Stihl 960i and the ISX 3300 is that the Stihl version does not have the headrest above the seat, but it does have, let me see if I can cut it on. It does have the come with headlights, which is fantastic. So it's probably blinding the camera, but there's a couple of LED style headlights right here, one on either side, and they work phenomenal, phenomenally well. So that is one primary difference, is you lose the headrest, but you gain the headlights. The headlights may be an option on the Ferris ISX 3300. That I'm not 100% sure on. You can hear my neighbors going crazy with their AR-15. Another thing that you get on the Stihl that I don't believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that you get on the Ferris is there are two USB charging ports right here, which is really cool, actually. So that is another feature that you get on this one that you don't get on the Ferris. Now, I believe, other than that, I believe the mowers themselves are virtually identical bolt for bolt. I think they said also that the deck adjustment pin on the Stihl is magnetic, which it is not on the ISX 3300. That I'm not sure of it either. Now, back here, there may be some cosmetic differences back here in the way they do the bumpers on here, and the rest of it's just paint. Other than that, it lines right up with the ISX 3300, or forgive me, yeah, the ISX 3300. I can tell you that we've had torrential rain here lately. It rained all day yesterday, and I was just sad as could be because I had this brand new mower that ain't been run yet, and I was wanting to cut this grass, which hasn't been cut at all this year, except for a very small portion in this very front part of the yard. So I come home and got on it anyway, and the grass was holding a lot of water because of the recent rain, but it wasn't just soaking wet on the outside. So I ended up cutting the whole dang, whatever is, close to 6 acres, 5.5 acres for sure, last night, and most of it was with the headlights. And I'm telling you, with that big 40 horsepower motor, it was like a hot knife through butter. I mean, it bogged down once or possibly maybe twice in the very thickest part of very, very wet grass. Now, keep in mind, when I bought this house 3 years ago, they were using, the front yard was actually a hayfield. So it's still, I mean, it's rough, and it gets very, very thick, and I have to cut it every single week. But anyway, I got on it and mowed. It did an incredibly, just a fantastic job. The cut quality is, I cannot imagine a better cut. Even in that thick stuff, I looked at it again today and it looked amazing. The striping was incredible. I don't know. I mean, maybe there are mowers that stripe better without the striping kit. I don't know. I do have the Big League lawn striping kit. I haven't installed it on this mower yet. I'll have to figure out how to do that. I will call Big League probably tomorrow. I basically just took the one off of my my IS 3200Z, which was 61-inch deck, and I still got it, and I had to figure out how to get it on this one. But I didn't want to put it on until I got a chance to cut it without the striping kit, because I wanted to see what it would look like. And it is amazing. Another thing I can tell you is on the ropes thing here on the Ferris, on the IS 3200Z, there wasn't any, and maybe it came from the factory with it. I can't remember. But this one has these rubber mounts, and it is incredibly quiet. Really, you just don't hear anything. I can tell you on my old mower, these things vibrated so much it was just crazy loud. So that's another benefit. Of course, the tires are still, and it's getting very dark, so I have to wrap this up soon. But the tires are still these big 26-inch tires. Now, on my Ferris IS3200Z, I had switched to the VersaTurf tires, which are very aggressive tires. If you're not careful, you can tear your yard up with them. But if you know what you're doing and you pay attention and you slow down a little bit on the turns, then you should be fine. But the grip is phenomenal. I haven't noticed slipping in on this thing very much at all. Maybe a little bit. It did actually start to rain on me just at the very end last night. And then as soon as I turned off the mower last night, we got torrential rain. But it just started to drizzle right before I got done mowing. And I was going the backside of that, well, you can't tell, but the backside of the hill in my yard. And I was trying to slow down a little bit, and it slipped a little bit. But the tires are good tires. I mean, they're good. When these wear out, I'll switch probably back to the VersaTurf tires, which are amazing. But y'all, if you are... I think the MSRP on this mower is about $18,000, if I'm not mistaken. It's an expensive top of the line mower, but I'm going to be honest, I don't have a commercial lawn cutting business anymore. I did at one time, but I cannot imagine a better cut. I cannot imagine a better mower. I'm just over the moon. I did tons and tons and tons of research before I bought this, and I am very, very excited. Now, there have been some rumors about Stihl possibly buying Briggs or Ferris. Of course, Stihl has, tons of money, and they are a fantastic worldwide company. So I kind of hedged my bets on that, thinking that they would get tired of probably supply issues from Ferris and eventually probably buy out Briggs or Ferris. That is a rumor. It may not be true. It may happen, but that's where I'm hedging my bets. This is a phenomenal mower. Of course, it's got the run flat tires, or the tires that don't get flat. I could not be more impressed with what I see so far. I will update you guys as the weather gets better and it's sunny and I'm not working and hunting. Right now it's turkey season, so I've been very busy with that. So it seems like there's not enough minutes in the day, and I've been burning the candle at both ends. But when things slow down a little bit, I will do a video in the sunlight, and I'll show you some of the cuts on some good dry grass. And maybe if I get time, maybe tomorrow night, I'll add a link so that you can see what the cut looks like. And again, this was on very, very wet grass. And I was just rushing through it as quickly as possible. But very happy with this mower. If you've got any questions or comments, please leave those in the comment section underneath this video. I reckon I'll upload this on YouTube, and I've also started a Facebook page. So I'll post the link for that page as well. So y'all stay tuned, and if you've got any questions, let me know. I'll answer them as best I can. One last thing. Of course, I forgot to mention that this does have the suspension seat on it, which is incredible. So what you get is you get two things. You get the suspension working for the mower, so you're not beating the mower half to death, and you get an amazing ride even without the suspension seat. I know that for a fact because the IS3200Z that I had did not have the suspension seat, but of course it did have suspension on all four corners. Add the suspension seat to it, and you get something that is just unbelievable. You cannot possibly imagine how good the ride on this thing is unless you actually get on one and take a ride on it. You cannot imagine. It does not even compare with a mower that has only the suspension seat. You add the suspension on the mower itself and couple that with the suspension seat, and you get something that just cannot be believed unless you actually. And I like the descriptive sort of verbiage to describe exactly how amazing it is. You just I cannot rate it. There's not enough. Again, the bar has been set very, very high with this mower, and by proxy, the Ferris ISX 3300 as well. My choice on the Vanguard versus the Kawasaki is I had some bad luck with a Kawasaki motor on an X-Mark one time, commercial mower, and I just never went back. And I haven't had the first lick of problems with the Vanguard at all. The Kawasaki, though, it left a really bad taste in my mouth. And I'm not saying, that I am the sort of guru of all things zero turns. I don't know I know about as much about zero turns as I know about hunting turkeys, which is next to nothing. But anyway, y'all, if you've got any questions at all, don't hesitate to send me a question, friend request on Facebook. On Facebook, my name's Christian Weston. It's Westen. I've got the Turkey Fans 33.3 page. That's just like Jeremiah 33.3, which is call to me and I will answer you and show you great and mighty things which you do not know. The Mr. Fox Vest Conservators page is also my page. Of course, I pro staff for, I'm on the Mossy Oak pro staff, so I enjoy being a part of the extended Mossy Oak family. But lots of hunting stuff, and of course, I'll post the link to the brand new Stihl Facebook page that the Stihl Zero Turn Facebook page that I created. But y'all, thank you so much for watching this long-winded video. I hope this answers any questions you might have. But I cannot rate this. I've had a ton of commercial mowers in the past, and this is by far and above the best I've ever seen, been on, cut with, borrowed, used. It doesn't matter. There's not even a close second. This thing is phenomenal. Again, it's the Stihl the Stihl RZ960i with the Vanguard motor, the Vanguard 40 horsepower motor. The designation of the RZ 960IK would mean that there was a Kawasaki motor on it. So you just want the I if you're going to get the Vanguard, which I highly recommend. But y'all, thank you so much for watching this. I hope that you're evangelizing in everything you do, and God bless every single one of you. Bye-bye now.